to a special edition of the Football Fever, where the brightest stars will shine in a showdown in the Lone Star State tonight. Will we see a shootout or a stalemate between two talented defenses? I'm Kellyanne Stitz alongside former Buckeyes Jay Richardson, Obi Stillwell, and Ben Buchanan. Our Dave Holmes is in Arlington, Texas with the Buckeyes. We'll check in with him shortly, but first, guys, a quick vibe check. How are we feeling ahead of this semifinal matchup against Texas in the Cotton Bowl? It was kind of some mixed reviews before we started here. I think if I'm going to speak for the team, we all believe the Buckeyes can get this done tonight. But a matter of how that will look. Sure. I mean, they've been scoring at least 41 points against these really good teams. Yes. They're clicking on offense. They look like a juggernaut that we expected them to be. But it could be a close one, too. Really good defense.
Yeah, so you got top 5 defenses, 2 of them. You got a couple great offenses. You got the hottest offense in college football for Ohio State Buckeyes. And the big question is, can they start off hot the way they've done the last 2 games and just take Texas by storm in the first quarter, which is what I think they need to do if this is going to be a blowout that Ms. Stitz thinks it's going to be. Now, I think it's going to be a competitive football game, folks. Do not freak out if it's not a blowout after the first quarter. These are 2 very, very good head coaches as well. 2 of the best play callers in college football in Chip Kelly and Steve Sarkisian. This is going to be an elite level matchup. It's going to feel like an NFL game, folks. So you got to be in it for the long haul, and Ohio State has got to stay the course. If it doesn't happen all at once, don't freak out.
Jay, I'll say this. Oh, real quick. If they don't score 40 points, at least 40 points, I do believe they will win by 2 touchdowns. But Obi, how are you feeling?
I feel like this is going to – I want to echo Jay a little bit here because I do believe that it's going to be a game that's won in the fourth quarter. Texas has issues with finishing games, but they have an explosive offense. Ohio State's going to have to stay disciplined on the defense. They're going to have to make sure that they're executing on offense. But I do believe that Ohio State can win the game. It's going to be maybe a touchdown, maybe 10 points. 10 points will be a blowout in this game.
Okay,
team, have you watched the last 2 games? Absolutely obliterated the #1 team in the country in the Rose Bowl. You're talking about 41-21, guys, and that score does not tell the story in that game. They got out to a 34-0 lead. This team is red hot. They are playing with so much confidence. You know, I like how Ryan Day is able to keep them humble. Listen, you lost to a 6-5 Michigan team, but man, you're playing red hot and capturing the moment. That's what they're doing right now. You beat an SEC team in Tennessee. You beat the #1 team in the country in Oregon, playing at a super high level. Will Howard, guys, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. The quarterback, the leadership, Jay, we're starting to see that a little more.
Yes, we are.
Get that 2-headed monster going today. Our defense is playing well. Jaden Fielding's making those field goals. There's a lot to like. There's a lot to like going into this game. And not to mention Texas against an ASU team, right? Double overtime.
Are you predicting the blowout?
I'm more the optimist of the show.
Me too.
I'll be surprised if it's under 2 touchdowns.
The consistent, explosive starts for me gives a lot of confidence, and the mentality has changed with the team. They are very aggressive and hungry to win. Well, we of course can't capture the excitement of this semifinal matchup. We're close, but we can't quite capture it here in Columbus. For that, we'll have to send things out to our Dave Holmes at AT&T Stadium. And Dave, there are some Texas-sized storylines surrounding this meeting.
Well, yeah, it really is such an interesting matchup, Kellyanne, when you look at the legacy of the 2 head coaches and the 2 quarterbacks. We start with the head coaches, Steve Sarkisian of Texas, Ryan Day of Ohio State, 2 men who are very well respected by their peers, but 2 men who don't have that national championship trophy to hang their hat on and say we truly belong in the elite class of head coaches in the country. And we look at this college football playoff, someone is about to win their first national championship as head coach because Marcus Freeman, the former Buckeye linebacker, is awaiting the winner of this one for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And how about the quarterback battle tonight? Will Howard has faced the Texas Longhorns 4 times, 3 times as a starter. That's back when Will was at Kansas State. Will is 0-4 in those games, so no doubt, major chip on the shoulder, and we know Will Howard always has a chip on the shoulder, whether he needs one or not. He has it tonight. And then you have Quinn Ewers, who is the poster child in this NIL world. He arrived at Ohio State with a $7-figure million NIL deal. He has a couple of handoffs, a couple of kneel downs, and he bolts for Texas because he couldn't beat C.J. Stroud out. No shame in that, but now Quinn Ewers transfers and faces his former team. His head coach, Steve Sarkisian, said he is the poster boy of the new era of college football. So guys, 2 head coaches, 2 quarterbacks, a lot on the line tonight when it comes to those legacies.
Yeah, Dave, and both teams are just 2 wins away from a national championship. For Quinn Ewers, his former team stands in the way, and for Will Howard, it's a team that he went 0-4 against at Kansas State. Now, Ben, both quarterbacks with something to prove, but for Will Howard, he seems to especially play his best when there's a chip on the shoulder.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Starting with Quinn Ewers, though, guys, if you watch the film this year, he's really had an up and down year. And behind him, second-string quarterback, last name Manning, right? So there's some rumblings as to, if he doesn't play well tonight going into the third quarter, would we see a little bit of a short leash? But Quinn Ewers, Ryan Day was singing his praises, right? In the press conference, said one of the highest rated recruits of all time, offered him as an 8th grader, pulled him aside and said, don't make me regret this. Now he came for the 1 year. I'll say, watching him on the sidelines, unbelievable arm talent. You talk about the whip, the snap. He has the ability to make all the throws, but for some reason, kind of an up and down year. Will Howard, you're absolutely right. When his back is against the wall, they lost the rivalry game, right? How are you going to respond as an athlete? Tennessee comes and balls out. Oregon lights out, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. This is a guy who wants the ball. He needs to be that leader. Your job tonight, get the ball to your talent in space and don't turn the ball over. We do that. I really like our chances tonight.
I do too. Now, Ewers said if he saw some of his former teammates in the street, it'd be like catching up with some old friends. So there's really no bad blood in the Woody for Ewers. He may still be playing for a shot at a national title, but look at Ohio State's talent on the offensive side of the ball. Obi, do you think that Ewers has some slight regret? Because he likely would have been the successor to C.J. Stroud. And if he's looking at Ohio State, he's like, man, with that talent in zone 6, I could have been throwing the ball to some of the playmakers.
No, you know what? I think he may have thought about it slightly, but I don't think he's the type of guy that dwells on much at all. He was offered a scholarship in the 8th grade, right? I think this guy is mature beyond his years. He turns 22 in March. I think he's very grounded in his faith, number one. He's grounded in his decisions. I don't think he looks back much, but I am interested. He does look forward because I'm wondering how is he moving in this space with Manning on his back, right? And is he going to move forward to the NFL? Is he going to transfer? I think the Buckeyes is a little less of a distraction than his future. I think his future is more distracting in this particular game than Ohio State, and that could be a factor.
Well, looking at this matchup between these quarterbacks, that's not to say, again, that Ewers hasn't had success as a Longhorn. His passing efficiency, though, did drop a little bit compared to last year. He did throw for over 3,100 yards and 29 touchdowns, but he's also tossed up 11 picks. Compare that to Will Howard, who's on track to break Ohio State's completion percentage record, completing nearly 73% of his passes for 3,490 yards and 32 touchdowns with only 9 interceptions. He also has the ability to make some plays with his legs if needed, with 165 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns, calling his own number this year. So, Jay, in this battle, who do you think has the better quarterback?
Yeah, Jay.
Oh, that is a tough question. So it's about who's hottest right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
If we had to put them both in shorts and put them out there and just throw footballs, Quinn Ewers is the talent. He's the guy that the next level is looking at. But who's hot right now? Oh my goodness, it is Will Howard. I think Kellyanne just gave you all the numbers. I'm going to give you why I think he's the hottest right now. It is his confidence. He is somebody that once he gets going, he starts to burn hotter. He gets better every single throw. The throw he made to Emeka Egbuka over his shoulder against Oregon as he ran to the end zone in stride. And we were always so hard on Will early in the season about underthrowing or overthrowing. He was right on the money.
He said we?
Yes, we.
Wait,
it was not just me.
Okay, all right.
Just checking. Okay, because all the Columbus thinks I'm the only one that was hard on him. Everybody was hard on my man, but he is now making it hard on these opposing defenses. He is slinging that thing right now. So I think Ohio State has the edge when it comes to quarterback as of these playoffs.
He has been very good with his ball placement as of late. The consistency, I think, is where I would take Will Howard in this one, giving him the edge. Now, looking at the other side of the ball, the Buckeyes are bringing the best defense in the country to Arlington. They lead the nation in scoring defense, holding opponents to just an average of 12 points per game. They also have the #1 passing defense and a top 5 run defense. Now, the Longhorns have been inconsistent on the ground this season despite having the best offensive line in the country. Obi, where does OSU have an advantage defensively in this one?
You know what? I think defensively, the main advantage is that Texas is still trying to find their identity. They're still trying to figure out when and where they're going to peak. When you look at the post-game conference after they beat ASU, it was not a team that had dominated. They had just come out of a fight. Quentin Ewers even spoke about his faith in Jesus Christ. And then he said something really interesting, because he said, Jesus Christ is going to love me regardless of anything. And I was like, man, that didn't sound like a victory post-conference speak. Yeah, the confidence. Yeah, it was just a little different. Now, of course, we give all praise and honor to Christ and all that kind of stuff, but it was just kind of somber. And I was wondering, where is that confidence, and are they going to be able to build that coming into this particular game? So the advantage, I'm not sure they have the advantage, or Ohio State has the advantage only because Texas doesn't have that identity just yet.
Yeah, and these Buckeyes, part of their identity in general is just they're aggressive. They are so hungry to win it all, and they're playing for each other, and that's very, very clear. Now, Jay, though, looking at this matchup, Zone 6 is hard to stop, but Texas has a solid secondary led by Jim Thorpe Award winner Jahdae Barron. The corner hasn't given up a single touchdown on 65 targets this season. The Longhorns secondary is holding opponents to less than 6 yards per passing attempt this year. Now, how can Zone 6 exploit this secondary?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So if you're somebody that loves football X's and O's and you're a purist, you're going to love this matchup this evening, because what you're going to have is some amazing players from Ohio State, right? The most electric receiving core versus the best cover guys maybe in college football as a unit. Now, we all know about Barron. They also got Makuba and they got Taft, and these guys are geared up. The thing about it is Texas is in zone coverage 80% of their snaps. What does that mean for Ohio State and how you attack that? That means you have to find all the open spots in the zones. You're going to see a lot of spot routes. You're going to see a lot of comebacks. You're going to see a lot of guys who have to be seasoned and they're breaking off routes and finding Will Howard's eyes and making their hands available. You're not going to see the top get blown off this Texas defense early on. Their biggest objective is stop number 4. So you're not going to let them, they're not going to let JJ just run free one-on-one, and you're not going to see Barron kind of going man-to-man with him and just running with them. No. It's going to be a complex zone, and that's going to put a lot of stress on Will Howard. He's got to be able to read this defense and break down 2 high shell, single high safety, cover 3, and he has to know what he's seeing, trust his eyes, and let it fly. If they can do that, then they can be effective.
All right, well, coming up on the Football Fever, familiar territory for the Buckeyes, how the team looks to get their swagger back at AT&T Stadium following last season's tough loss to Missouri. You're watching the Football Fever.
Arlington, Texas. The Cotton Bowl night between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Texas Longhorns. A neutral site game, but I can tell you as this place continues to fill up and as we get closer to kickoff, it's a very burnt orange pro-Texas crowd. But Ryan Day's not worried about that. He said all week, this is about us. And he said that all season, really. It's not about the opponent. It's about us. We know as Ohio State Buckeyes, if we play up to our potential, it doesn't matter the other crowd. It doesn't matter the other team. And that's what Ohio State's done through 2 games against Tennessee and Oregon. They're looking for more of the same tonight against the Longhorns.
AT&T Stadium is one of the best game environments there are throughout college football and the NFL. So we're excited to be here again. I'll say this for our team. We every week we've had an opportunity to grow and to build, and we're excited about being here in this spot.
It's been an absolute gauntlet of a schedule for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ryan Day already has 4 wins over top 10 teams this season. He needs that 5th one tonight, and then he would need a 6th one against Notre Dame on Monday, January 20th. If he can survive that, he will be a national champion head coach. We have more football fever from Arlington, Texas, coming up next.
welcome back to the Football Fever. Now, Jeremiah Smith gets a lot of attention, and rightfully so, but Emeka Egbuka is just as vital to this Buckeyes offense. Emeka making an incredible one-handed grab against Oregon to fuel the Buckeyes' fast start. Our Dave Holmes goes one-on-one with the wideout as he gears up for his second Cotton Bowl in as many years.
Thanks a lot. Here with wide receiver Emeka Egbuka. I mean, you came back for games like this. It's funny, a year ago you played that game here, down vibes at AT&T. What's it like this time knowing that everything's on the line?
It's amazing to be back here. I think that, some bitter memories from the last time we were in the stadium, but, it's a beautiful venue. The Cotton Bowl does a great job, so we're very excited to be here.
No bitter memories right now over the last couple of weeks. Incredible games against Tennessee, Oregon. It's flipped. You've gone from underdog to the guy everyone's gunning for very quickly. So what's it like now being the team everyone's going after?
Feels the exact same. I think that, we don't pay too much attention to what media has to say about us. In fact, sometimes we like being the underdog. So I think that, whether someone's singing your praises or, they're putting you down in the dumps, I think that, we're very confident in the people that we have on this team.
You saying you want me to pick Texas right now just to get you fired up? Is that what you're doing? All right, I'm taking the long one. No, I'm not going to do that on Columbus TV. I'll get you out on this one. What are you feeling right now as you get ready for this game? Excitement, nerves? What's the vibe like on this team?
Yeah, tons of emotions leading into this game, but I think that's what playoff football is about. I think that emotions are flying, emotions are high. The atmosphere is going to be, very tangible. You're going to be able to feel it. So I think that's kind of the games that you sign up for when you come to Ohio State.
So Ohio State is favored in this one, and they're the favorite to win it all. But Ben, hearing from Emeka Egbuka there, he said he likes playing with that underdog kind of mentality. Do you feel that the favoritism can be a confidence boost or a distraction?
I think he's saying all the right things. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I really think those guys are locked in. Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, Travion Henderson, all the stars. Everyone on this football team better be locked in. You can't pay attention to the noise, as they say, right? So favorites or underdog, it's the common question that you're always asked in the media. These guys don't need any extra motivation coming into this game. Listen, you are one game away for having the opportunity to make all of your dreams come true as a Buckeye, win a national championship, but they got to stay laser focused against this Texas football team. Say it again, as I said at the top of the show, they should play with a lot of confidence. Absolutely blew out an SEC power in Tennessee in the Horseshoe. You go out to the Rose Bowl in beautiful Pasadena, California, and absolutely light it up against the #1 team in the country, but you have to stay humble, right? They know that. This is a team that knows the bottom can fall out if they let their guard down, lose to a 6-5 Michigan football team as your rival. At the end of the day, you have to respect the opponent. How do you respect the opponent? You play hard. They need to stay laser focused into this one.
Absolutely. Now, the Buckeyes are playing with a lot of confidence right now, and that's been inspired by a fighting mentality. Just ask G. Scott Jr.
Set the tone early and kind of almost, set a message that we're not here to play conservative offense, that we're going to come right after you guys from the first play, and we'll be at you guys all 4 quarters. And so whenever you start a game like that, I'm a believer if you're I don't condone street fighting, but if you're in a street fight, he who throws the first punch will likely comes out with the win. So our mindset going into that was throw the first punch, and I think we did that.
Now, Ohio State has been throwing the first punch in heavyweight matchups as of late. The Buckeyes have scored 35 points combined in the first quarter of their last 2 playoff games. In fact, in their last game, the Bucs had a 34-0 lead before Oregon could even run a play past the 50-yard line in the first half. Jay, Chip Kelly has been calling an aggressive attack. What would you like to see from the OC to get off to a fast start against Texas?
Yeah, Kelly, and so this is great because both the first 2 games of the playoffs were won in the first quarter, it seemed like. Super aggressive. And there's a couple guys in the country you do not want to have to face as a defense when they have time to script their first 12 plays. That is Chip Kelly and Steve Sarkisian. These guys are masterminds. And Chip is so good at getting leverage and scheming up plays to specifically get his best players open and create mismatches in the secondary and make Will's eyes easy, right? He wants easy throws, get his guys going early, and then Will gets his confidence rolling. So if you're Chip, you understand that they're going to be in zone. You're talking about Texas. And you have to attack that zone very, very efficiently. So you're going to work in between the numbers. So expect to see Will's sweet spot. That's down the hash. That's the seams. You're going to see G. Scott. And then you're going to see some drag routes and some different concepts. And don't forget, listen, Ohio State has not pulled out their best stuff yet. I think people got to realize they've been saving a lot for this game. They've been saving a lot for these playoffs. And that's why they look so explosive. So if you're Chip Kelly, let it all hang out. I'm not going to say it's going to be your last game, but you got to play like it's your last game because you don't know what's going to happen. Throw everything out there. I think he will.
Absolutely. We're going to replay that clip, too, at the end of the night, right? When we come back and see what happens in this first quarter. Well, final thoughts, guys. How are we feeling? Obi, I came prepared for you today.
Oh, wow. Kind of the game day moment. Yeah. I like it.
Hey,
how are we feeling?
Buckeyes by 10. Buckeyes by 10. It won't be a big blowout, but I think they can.
I say
pull up
Buckeyes by 2 touchdowns.
I like it. Buckeyes more than 14. I think the momentum continues, guys. This is electric, and it's special time to be a Buckeye.
Giddy up, Ben.
Right now. Let's go.
All these seniors came back for this moment. I'm going to say Buckeyes 32-17.
Okay. Like the score.
Ooh, I like it a lot. We will see how this one all plays out, but it should be a good game nonetheless. A Texas-sized showdown in Arlington, and we are getting you ready for that. That'll do it for the Football Fever. The Buckeyes and Longhorns kick off in just a few minutes on ESPN, and the post-game show will look a little different tonight. We'll be going live on YouTube to bring our unfiltered thoughts immediately following this win, so make sure to tune in. And guys, let's ride in.
Go Bucks!
Go Bucks!